Suicide on the increase, the drug trade is Cement no pass in the yard. You want to make it a dance hall. You forget it's a hospital. To get sick now is a mistake. Cause black one making the profit. You sick with those sick, same damn thing. You in or you out, same damn thing. You well, you do well, same damn thing. You dead, you do dead, same damn thing.
This is not politics. Please don't forget, I'm just practicing to be a poet. Not qualified as yet, but have no fear. I'm gonna get there. I'm not in this world to live up to your expectation. Neither are you in to live up to mine. I don't owe no one, no obligation. No one owes me none, so everything is fine, fine. I said I am that I am, I am, I am, I am. I am that I am, I am, I am, I am. I am that I am, I am, I am, I am. I am that I am, I am, I am, I am. Serious business. There is a time for everything, and for everything there is a season. So man and man must reason. So I think it's prime time that we address some more issues. Simple information I will use. No rocket science to get you confused. So relax your mind, make sure everything is fine while I take you down a poetic line. Trick us with campaign promises, we won't stay at ease. That's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain, but you now refrain, you now refrain. I remember you say Liberation Day, and I ask, you sure is that you wanna say? Cause you sounded so good to believe. And deception is a powerful thing when you lose your rightful thinking. So we voted for the bling. But you trick us with campaign promises, we won't say at ease. That's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain, but you now refrain, you now refrain. Yellow, yellow all the way is what everybody say. Cell phone ring, man answering. Yellow, yellow, no hello. Teeth get yellow, house get yellow, bus get yellow, man get yellow, even green get yellow, and so says 11-4. When you trick us with campaign promises, we won't stay at ease. That's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping.
And a good night to Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. Once again, it is time for Talking Points. My name's Sheldon Scott. It's now 8 minutes after the hour of 8 o'clock. For those of you following on YouTube and you're following on Facebook, you might hear that about a minute after. So you might hear that at about 9 past. You go hear me saying it's 8 past. So nice. Right, indeed. We're live via 91.9, 91.5 Real FM. Also live via 94.9 out there in beautiful Brooklyn.
Promises, we won't stay at ease. That's the way.
And we say a special good night to all our listeners out there in the Grenadian diaspora. Those of you listening in North Carolina, South Carolina, Texas, California, Arizona. Those of you listening in Florida, those of you listening in Washington, D.C., Ontario, Canada, those of you listening in Calgary, Canada, those of you listening out there in Huddersfield in the UK, in Reading in the UK, those of you listening wherever you are, we say a special. Those of you in London, those of you, what's the name of that place again? I'm trying to remember the name of another place in the UK where there are several Grenadians living,
That's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the stress.
So remember to like and share. Those of you on Facebook, like the program, share it. Like and share. Remember to share. Everybody, share right now.
We are looking into it. Never mind. Only projects in pipeline. No water to cool down the yellow temperature. When will they start? Please answer that. Oh, soon. Maybe by the next full moon. Although things are turning at a very slow pace, we now run.
And a reminder to you all, remember, get yourselves registered as members of the new National Party. Get your party card as well,
trick us with campaign.
You know, there are many people that I know have supported the new National Party from since before I became actively involved about 20-something years ago. And many people, they support, but they're actually not card-carrying members of the party, but they're supporting the party. They're out there. They talk in support of the party. They assist with all sort of things, but they're not a registered member of the party. So get registered as a member of the new National Party.
Hold your yellow conviction strong.
You could contact the main office during the day, 440-1875 or 440-1876. So 1875-1876. And the ladies there will give you more information about how you can be registered as a member of the new National Party.
That's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain, but you now refrain.
Sorting out one or two issues online, and pretty soon you'll be able to do that online as well, yeah?
Can't digest that.
We know we're in the year 2023. It can't be at a phone and go and get a piece of paper to do that. No, you have to be able to do it online as well, isn't it? Yeah.
Maybe they clone. And however,
so working on that. Nice.
unity that will miss.
Also, remember, if you have those 18-year-olds, make sure you get them registered because you never know when the bell will ring. It could ring early, it could ring late, it could ring medium term. You don't know. So just to make sure that whenever, whatever, they are registered from the time they turn 18. Any of them that 18 today, happy birthday. Get registered tomorrow. Right? So get them registered. Nice.
You remember in the Bible, God had a plan for Jonah to restore Nineveh. But who will restore Grenada? Is it the same?
Yes, Jillian, I have not forgotten you. I am still immobile, but I will get that to you.
Before the arch, politicians sometimes form a crooked badge. After they get the vote, they now sing one note. But here
I have been getting, folks, it's better to send me a message. Look for me on Facebook, Sheldon Scott on Facebook, and send a message to me there, yeah? For those of you, I realize a lot of you send messages to the Talking Points inbox, and I don't get those messages as regular or as fast as I get those directly on my normal Facebook account. But you could send them there still too, yeah.
Because after we say enough from Jonah, here comes still with more pressure and hunger. And from the mouth of Grenada, only one thing I utter. The Congress neglect us. The Congress fail us.
Good night to you, Joyce. I haven't seen you message yet, but I'm pretty sure that you're on.
If you want good health.
So good night to you, Joyce. Yeah, I know you're always on and listening.
December. So what we are doing from January to November? Suck salt and drink Nawasa water. When you trick us with campaign promising.
Let me say a good night to Janice, Philip, Heidi, Stephen, Bernadette, Christine, Stephanie, Anastasia. I like to say that. Anastasia. Valma, Henry, Gavin, Beavis, Natalia, Tati, what's up? How's mommy? Yeah, and daddy. Wendy, Anne-Marie. I'm seeing Joanne, Lona. Yeah, Lona Lolo. Hey, what's up? Jakim, Jocelyn, Listra, Adrian Watts. How you doing, comrade? Nice. Yes, Jillian. Good night to you again. Alan, Kathleen, Agnes, Angie. What's up? Yeah, Michelle, Devin, Gertrude, Abraham, Gloria. Let me see who else is there. Who else is there? Anne Barbara. Good night. Eliza. Good night to you. Kathleen. Good night to you as well. The other Deborah. Good night to you. Christine and Cynthia. The other Jillian. Good night to you. Matthew, Michelle. Good night to all of you. That's some of you that I'm seeing on the YouTube and over on the Facebook. Kathy Albert, a special good night to you. Yeah. And let me see. Cleaver, Andre, Glennis, Dwight. I'm seeing Angus there. Gil, I'm seeing you. Let me see. I'm seeing Cynthia. All right. Yeah. Denise. I'm seeing Maria. Let me see. Landon. Devon Romain, good night, bro. Landon, Olive, Monique, Denise, Sharon, Kathy Pope, good night. Denise, Yolande, Red Girl Pascal, Winnie, good night to you. Ibrahim, and wait, there's two Ibrahims there. So let me say good night to Ibrahim and Ibrahim. So it's two different Ibrahims that's beyond. Nice. Let me see. Edlin, Nadia. All right. Who else is there? Mavis and Shermay. What's up, girl? Susan, Wendy Ann. I see you giving trouble on Facebook today, Wendy Ann. Behave yourself. And Agatha, Patrick is there. Justin is there. Shemi, as usual. Aliza, as usual, is on. Petra. So a special good night to all of you. I haven't seen, where's Matthew? Matthew out there in Brooklyn. I don't think I've picked up Matthew yet, but I'm sure he's on. So a good night to you, Matthew. I'm sure that you're somewhere there in between the comments, and I may have missed your name somewhere there, yeah.
To get you confused. So relax your mind. Make sure everything is fine.
You know, I was playing a song when I came on earlier, and I feel like going and touch that song again because that song is so, yeah, I feel like touching that. Yeah, just letting the numbers build up a bit, yeah. Tonight we're going to be talking about that data bill that they're speaking about there. Yeah, that data. Let me see give you the exact Data Protection Act. We're going to be speaking about that tonight.
Remember we tradition for this Kambule, Jambalasi ruling this time. Yes, we everywhere, taking it from the grapevine. We breaking all rules with fun, picong and rhyme. If the campaign didn't pass in the yard, they wouldn't have say, oh me mad bad motor pay to pass in the yard. You say to make it better, you need to still me finger. Now only 1 year later, this country having heart failure. Hey, you vote, you don't vote, same damn thing. The heart or the hand, same damn thing. The change we ain't change, same damn thing. You win, you don't win, same damn thing.
Yeah, I'm dressed in black because I was at Miss Noriega's funeral today.
Capital, capital, nice and virgin girl. They rob.
Joyce, don't be grieving on a Friday. You never know. I'm thinking about the Friday programs, yeah?
We must succeed. How can we grow without our basic needs? If you change your course, here could be paradise. Why strangle the hopes by trying to build on lies? If the taxman didn't pass in the yard, they wouldn't have said, oh me more bad, Mr. Finance, don't pass in the yard. We working for little money. You take it back as you give it. You entry a falsity, and now you kill me with the dead levy. We vex, we don't vex, same damn thing. We talk, we don't talk, same damn thing. We walk, we don't walk, same damn thing. We pay, we don't pay, same damn thing.
Yes, Denise out there in Long Island, yeah. Saying a special good night to you. Thanks for joining us. You know, I was cutting out a piece of audio today, and for some reason, I didn't complete the process of cutting it out. It was a kind of day today, yeah, kind of day today. It was a tight one. In fact, you know what? Let me leave that issue for Monday. I'll leave that issue alone for Monday. But I need to address the issue, of course, of the Data Protection Act that is being brought by the NDC administration to Parliament on Tuesday. Yeah? Now, in this act, there are several parts of this act that I'm concerned about. Now, I have been reading, so I saw there is a similar act in Trinidad. Yeah? So Trinidad has a similar act. Barbados has one. Jamaica has one. Let me see. St. Vincent has one. St. Kitts and Nevis has one. Yes, similar acts to the act that we have coming to Parliament on Tuesday. But there are certain aspects of this act that cause concern not only to myself, but I have been hearing several people in the media fraternity speaking out against some of the things that they are seeing contained in this act. Remember this act is coming at a time and against a backdrop where you have several things taking place in this country to shut everybody who says anything against the administration, or even if it's not against them, but it's correcting them, or even if it's giving advice to them. You have those vitriolic, idiotic nincompoops that are out there that attack anybody that says anything against that administration. And yes, Trinidad's Act is not in effect, as I've just been informed, but I've seen it. I've seen what they had down for their particular act. And then, in fact, I'll get to part of what they have, even though they haven't instituted it. Now, this act was an act that was being worked on. So, full disclosure on this one. This was an act that was being worked on during the period of the New National Party, but it was not brought to Parliament. It was not enforced. Yeah? And even before going that direction, it would have had to be brought to, for instance, the media fraternity. They would have to look at it and have a say. Civil society should have a look at an act like this and have their say in relation to it. And of course, the Grenada Bar Association, who I am pretty close to being sure did not have the opportunity to view this act until just a day or two ago. I'm pretty sure, because they would then have given feedback to the government in relation to certain aspects of this act that would have ensured that that act never was placed on the order paper for Tuesday coming. Because some of the things that I'm seeing in there, maybe I'm misinterpreting them, but I'm concerned. And remember, law is based on the interpretation of the judge or the magistrate or whoever at that point in time that's reading it. They are going to make a judgment based on their interpretation. And not everybody interprets the same way. So that is why when you are bringing laws to Parliament, when you are putting laws in place, they must be very clear. They must be very concise. They must say what they mean without any ambiguity. You mustn't be wondering if that is what they're saying. You must know for a fact when you pick up a law that it says this is A, and you are sure that that is A. You can't be wondering if they really meant A, or it should have been B, or maybe it looks a bit like a D or a E. You can't have that sort of thing happening. There's not supposed to be any ambiguity there. You have to be sort of clear, not sort of, but you have to be very clear on what you're putting in place when you are putting a law in place. And there are several sections to this particular act that is being brought to Parliament that I have serious concerns, and I know that several other people have serious concerns with. The law speaks in section, and I'm just going to be skipping to different parts of it here. I'm not going to start like from the front coming back, but there are different parts that I'll be pointing out that I have serious concerns with. Yeah? So it speaks here to intentional disclosure of information. So a person who intentionally discloses personal information in contravention of this act commits an offense. Yeah? It is a defense to the offense under subsection 1. So in other words, it is a defense to a person disclosing personal information if the person acted in the reasonable belief that they would have had the consent of the person who the information belongs to, and if the data, that person had known of the disclosing of the personal data and circumstances of such disclosure. In other words, if you have permission to release the people's information. A person who collects, stores, or disposes of personal information in a manner that contravenes this act commits an offense. Yeah? And section 40 deals with breach of whistleblower, and we'll come to whistleblower in a while. So it's basically saying here that in the cases, for instance, where an individual like myself have received the contracts of various people hired under the NDC administration. Information, mind you, that has been requested twice by the leader of His Majesty's opposition and that this government bluntly refused to provide. There's no other way to describe it, because I am sure that they are well versed in the English language and they can understand when you ask for the names of the people hired, the salaries of the individuals, their duties where they are attached to, and any other benefits that they are receiving. Things like, for instance, transportation allowance. Are they getting a transportation allowance? Are they getting concession on a vehicle? Is it a 50%, 100%? What are they getting? Are they being given allowances for telecommunications and all of that? What are the benefits? That question was asked last year by leader of His Majesty's opposition. This government refused to answer the question properly. In fact, they are trying everything possible not to answer that question for whatever reason possible. So they do not want you to know how much Franca Alexis Bernardine, as an advisor to the Ministry of Education, is earning, if she's an advisor. Because they have tied up the names of transition leads and advisors into one document. There are no transition leads again. You have advisors. So they are bluntly, in my view, refusing to give this information to you, the Grenadian people. But when they pass a law that says this, they are telling people that it would be an offense for anybody to pass that information to me or anybody else, so that we can put that information out and let you know how your money is being spent. It's not Deacon Mitchell's money. It's your money. And they don't want you to know how they're spending it. I'm hearing some salaries in the Ministry of Implementation and Transformation. Yeah? In fact, I'm hearing salaries that close to a minister's salary within that ministry. In fact, the Ministry of Implementation and Transformation is a whole show on its own. Believe me, we might have to do a whole show just on that ministry. Because there are things that I know about that ministry that we will have to disclose. We'll have to tell you. Because they are hiding that information from you. So first, they make them sign oaths of affirmation so that they can't speak to anybody about anything they see going on in a ministry. Whether what this is wrong, and they should disclose that information. Inform the public. Let people know. Because they may be trying to cover up corrupt acts within ministries. These were the same people, remember, just a year ago, they were not in office in March last year. These were the same people jumping up about, we know what's going on in that ministry, and we know what's going on in that department, and we know what's going on in that statutory body. The same people that were the beneficiaries of leaks are now the people saying they want everybody to shut up. They don't want no leaks coming out again. From the newspaper, journalists that need to shut up on this issue, to the present Prime Minister. Because if this is so, and they put this act in place, I hope they make it retroactive. In other words, covering at least the last year. So then our present Prime Minister can answer to how information regarding the bank accounts of a particular political party made it into the public domain. Isn't that leaking information? The same head of government that stood up and said he's going to be releasing this information is now saying, no, Ole mustn't leak information, Ole mustn't put information. You see the two-facedness. You see the hypocrisy in these individuals. So it's okay. take the banking information of a political party and put it out there. But when it comes to leaking information about your political party, or it comes to leaking information about your friends that you have hired and given high-paying jobs within government ministries and statutory bodies, and when the questions are being asked by the leader of His Majesty's opposition as to who these people are and how much they're being paid, you're ducking it. And now, even though you're not providing the answers through the proper channel, which is the parliament of our country, you're trying to shut it up at different locations so that the information can't come out at all. Public workers, this act is being done to scare you. This act is being put in place because they want to get you scared. So the nurses who meet me every day and who phone and who call and who message and say, Sheldon, this is what is going on. That nurses are being overworked because they don't have enough nurses to cover the wards, so that sometimes when a nurse is supposed to come to replace the next one, there's nobody. So people have to be working double. So when they should be going home to rest and going home to their family, they're there agitated and irritated because they have to work a number of hours again without getting to take a rest. And then when they face us and they're aggravated and they're irritated, it rubs off on how they would interact with us at times. You could try and be as professional as possible, but you leave your home for 2 and 3 days to stay on a ward with sick people and see how that affects you emotionally and otherwise. So this act is being done for no other reason but to attempt to shut people like us up. They don't want you to know what is going on in your country. So again, let me put back 39 here because I want you to know what they're saying. So they're trying to say to any public officer there or anybody working within, it could be the Spice Mass Corporation or Gravel and Concrete. It could be the National Lottery Authority or the Postal Corporation. It could be the Grenada Airports Authority or the Port Authority. They are saying to all these people, if you see corruption inside there, hush. Even if you see corruption inside one of there, in the Port Authority or the Airport Authority or wherever, if you see something corrupt taking place inside there, they're telling you, don't leak that information out. Even if you pass it on to the people higher than you, but next thing is the people higher than you that doing the corrupt act. So you pass it out, you make it an issue nationally so that it can be addressed. They are saying to you that under section 39 here, that you would commit an offense by passing out that information. Yeah? Then they put this section in. And let me get this section up to you. They speak of whistleblowers protection. I've said before on this program that I believe that we need full whistleblower legislation in this country. Full whistleblower legislation. That means that if somebody sees something wrong happening and they pass that information out, that person ought to be protected by law from section 39, which says that what they're doing is an offense. Yeah? So in this, and you can read it for yourself, you're seeing what they're saying here: an employer, whether or not being a public body, shall not dismiss, suspend, demote, discipline, harass, or otherwise disadvantage an employee or deny that employee of a benefit because the employee acting in good faith and on the basis of reasonable belief. Understand this wording. On the basis of reasonable belief has notified the commission that the employer or any other person has contravened or is about to contravene this act, done or stated the intention of doing anything that is required to be done in order to avoid having any person contravene this act, or refused to do or stated the intention of refusing to do anything that is in contravention of this act. The employer believes that the employee will do anything described in paragraph A, and they made a mistake here because what they have as A, the second A should actually be B. Now, what they are saying here is that, number one, this is being done only for public bodies. So a person working in a private entity, let's say they're working in one of the bigger companies in Grenada, they see something corrupt going on there, and that person comes out and that person says, and I'm not going to call any company's name because I don't know of any illegal acts going on in any of the private companies in Grenada, but let's say that they see something going on in one of the private companies in our country and they leak that information out. And then the public gets to know what's taking place because probably it's the people that they have to report to that are doing the wrong thing. So they put it out there. And that person is dismissed. There's no whistleblower protection for those individuals. In the private, it speaks here only to, right? But it says whether or not being a public body. So I'm just realizing that part. It does says whether or not being a public body. But I'm saying here that this does not go far enough to protect people who provide information on things that we ought to know. It does not go far enough. You can't have whistleblower as just a section under a general act. Whistleblower legislation is supposed to be a whole act for itself. It's supposed to be a whole law that you bring to Parliament for itself to protect people and safeguard people that see corrupt acts, report corrupt acts, that they won't lose their jobs, they won't lose their income, they won't be vilified and terrified and attacked. Yeah? You won't have goons going after them. That if people provide information that shows something wrong going on or gives information that ought to be public information anyway, because the information, for instance, like the contracts of Mr. Patrick Simmons and E.O. Django Thomas is public information. We shouldn't have to ask for that. That should be published. Under the last NDC administration, that information, similar information was asked for. And give Jackie Jacket. At least they provided the names of who was there and how much money they was working for. Down to secretary and drivers that were hired after July 8th. They gave the names of everybody and how much money they were working for. This administration, ducking, bobbing, weaving, they don't want to provide that information. And now they're trying to put things in place and put them in place in a way so that they can persecute, not prosecute, no, persecute people who provide information of wrongdoings and of things that people ought to know. That is all they are attempting to do with this act, you know. To shut up the flow of information so that nobody would come and say, Sheldon, we've seen this going wrong. We know if we report it inside there, we're likely to lose our job because we're on contract, so we're likely to lose our job. Or even if they're fully within the public service, they could find themselves on suspension or on the way to being kicked out. And in fact, this thing creates a situation where people can actually face criminal proceedings. Yeah. Criminal proceedings. I think I wonder if I have that section here where it speaks to the charges. I think it's about 50,000 and 1 year in jail or some kind of thing like that. I'll get that section for you and put it up in a while. But this is what is taking place. This is what is taking place. This is what they have put together and are bringing to Parliament on Tuesday to ensure that nobody in Gravel and Concrete Emulsion Corporation go leak out the information that a board member gets the contract for tens of thousands of dollars to provide all of the furnishings for the marketing, not the marketing board, no, but the Gravel and Concrete Emulsion Corporation. They don't want that information come out because whoever leaked that information out about what all of us would believe would be something that would raise eyebrows Yeah? That when somebody leaks that sort of information out, instead of just dealing with the person who has done the wrong act, they want to deal with who informed on the person too. That is what they are attempting to do. And then you know what they have done? They've given themselves, they've made themselves bulletproof. So they've done this. Right? They have done this. And what this is doing is it is protecting them. Now they're going to form a commission. The commission is going to be 3 people. The commission is going to comprise of 3 people, a 3-person commission. And that 3-person commission, right, is going to receive the notices of if somebody breach, if somebody share somebody information out there. And so that commission is going to receive the information in relation to that and can institute investigations, inclusive of searching your homes, your vehicle, your boat, whatever it is, your property, wherever and whatever it is. Seize your flash drives, your cameras, your phones, your hard, everything, yeah, and search it. You go through your drawer, pull your documents, everything. It's going to give them the powers to do that. But they have put in part of the Act, Section 45, that means if you have been wrongly targeted, in other words, if the commission is wrong in targeting you, that you cannot bring civil proceedings against them. You can't take them to court. You have to stay there and take it. So it says here, no criminal or civil proceeding shall lie against the commission, but not just the commission, or any person acting on behalf or under the direction of the commission. So once they tell police officers or whoever else to go and search your place, and they do that, then you can come back and say, I'm going to my lawyer and bring a civil case against the commission or the people who came into your place and do something wrong. So whatever they do in your place, when they come there, no criminal proceedings could be brought against them and no civil proceedings could be brought against them once they're doing that under the commission. The commission tell them go, they go and they could do what they want. Them like 007, like they have a license to kill. So they could do what they want in your place and nothing can come outside because you can't take them to court. Does that sound as something that you want passed in your country? So these people is Papa God. Because they could do you as they want and there's nothing to come out of it. Yeah? So they have protection under this act from criminal and civil proceedings. So if you are unfairly targeted because of politics, as we know they want to use this act for, if you are unfairly targeted and you know it is a political something, they are saying here that according to this law, you have no rights. You can't take this to court. You can't say, you all come and search my place, not because you believe that I've broken any of these laws, but you have come and searched my place because of politics, and therefore I'm going to my lawyer, and we're going to take this to the court. You can't do it. You can't do it. Set up police come, searching your place, embarrass you in front of your neighbors, embarrass you in front of your children crying, all sort of thing. They come and they do that, and nothing will come out of it. Section 45, they have protection from criminal and civil proceedings. Yeah? For anything done, reported, or said in good faith. Now, in good faith could mean anything. In good faith could mean anything. In the course of the exercise or performance of any purported exercise, discharge or performance of any power, duty, or function of the commission under this act. So this is what they're saying. This is what they're trying to put into law here in Grenada, that you have 3 people who are going to form that commission, and these 3 people could send anybody at any time if they have reasonable belief, and we want to know what reasonable belief is. I'm not a lawyer. The lawyers will tell us what reasonable belief is. That commission can send people to come and search you, to search your vehicle. If you have a boat, search your boat, your premises, wherever that premises is, your business place, your place of work, your office, wherever, that they have the right to be able to search there. At any time, they could come day, night, 1 o'clock in the morning, they could come anytime and do it. And after they come and they do that, you can take civil proceedings against them. So you could lie down with your children. 2 o'clock in the morning, they can come and demand that they come with a warrant. After they've gone through the commission, they go to a magistrate and they get a warrant. And they have come to search your place 2 o'clock in the morning, wake your children up, they could do what they want. And there is no recourse in the courts of law for you. So you are nobody in your own country, as far as they are concerned. So they're giving these people the tools to oppress and persecute, not prosecute, persecute people in this country. And some of us sit down here and find that is okay. We in power now. And it's that. That's the dunce answer. All of them who are using that statement, dunce. That's the dunce answer, because they can't discuss the issue with you. So they put a full stop to the discussion because they know if it goes further, their ignorance and lack of intellect will be discussed, exposed, you know. So they put a full stop to the discussion by, and is that. Yeah? These are the things that they have. Listen. Let me show you something here. All I think is one thing. All I feel like is one thing in this thing. No. They have also put in here under section 20. E. I've highlighted it there for you to be able to see it. I've highlighted that part for you. That even though this is an offense to leak information, that the minister, and in this case the minister is the Minister of National Security, could decide that is not an offense. So if information on a government minister is leaked to me, right, I could end up being charged. The people, whoever leaked it to me, if they can find that person or persons, they could be charged and so on. My premises could be searched and all of that. That can happen. But if somebody in the same place leak information on a member of the opposition, E here gives the minister the right to be able to decide that the leaking of the information to me was a crime, but the leaking of the information to the other person is not a crime. All you understand what I'm saying here? This says, what you're watching here, and the part I've highlighted, the disclosure is deemed by the minister to be justified as being in the public interest in the circumstances. So in other words, the Prime Minister can say that someone leaking information to Sheldon Scott, I know middle name, Sheldon Scott, somebody leaking the contracts of Patrick Simmons and Ian Django Thomas to me, he can just leave that. That is an offense under the Act. But he, the Prime Minister, the same minister, could leak the information about the bank account transfers to a political party, and he could always just come and say, that's in the public interest in the circumstances. I want him to leak the cabinet conclusion. That is what I want him to leak. Leak the cabinet conclusion. Well, you feel we forget about that? You want to talk about that one, eh? And Honorable Deacon Mitchell, you want to talk about that? Leak the cabinet conclusion, eh? So you understand what's happening here. The minister, not the commission, not an independent body, the minister could decide that what is leaked to me is an offense. But what he leaked, or what is leaked to one of his people to attack the opposition, is not an offense. Because all he has to come out and do, according to this part of the law, is say the disclosure is deemed by the minister to be justified as being in the public interest in the circumstances. All you think that any minister go in and say that when I get information is in the public interest? Let me know if all you believe that any minister is going to say information leaked to Sheldon Scott is in the public interest. And information leaked to George Worm is not in the public interest. So go and search the new today. Go and charge George Worm. That's an offense. He's not supposed to have leaked information. All you can see a Grenada with that happening? Really and truly. All you think that, all you're going to see a Grenada with that happening? No, let me show you that part again. Because I want you all to understand what is taking place here. They're saying that the disclosure can be deemed by the minister to be justified. Justified, so he has the power to decide that an offense is not an offense. So it's supposed to be an offense, but the minister has the power and discretionary powers now to decide that that is not an offense. That what should be an offense is not an offense. So you understand what they're passing, what they're looking to pass. And listen now, let me speak to my members of the opposition, my lovely MPs. All your call for division of the House, I want to see you stand up and vote in favor of this. If this gets to that stage, in my view, this ought to be struck from the order paper. This ought not to go to Parliament. And don't give us that kind of cockamamie story about, oh, we're going to bring it to Parliament and then we go amend it later, you know. Yeah, after they use it to terrorize people and to hang it like a sword of Damocles over the necks of the public service, after they do that, you think they go in and amend anything? Yeah? That and Jesus' face, they will never see. So these are the things that they are putting in place. These are the things that they are focusing on. They are not focusing on the fact that the price of foodstuff gone up this week again. I've been going to the supermarkets, I've been passing through, and I see something this week and you see it one price, you see the next week it's at another price. And you realize incrementally it keep going up. Meanwhile, the average Grenadian, their salary remains, no, they're not government ministers. Government ministers get an additional $24,000 a year, right? But all the rest of us, no. And they get that $24,000 tax-free. But the rest of us, we didn't benefit like that. Have we? But meanwhile, the prices of foodstuff and so going up, and nothing is being done significantly to mitigate against that. Yeah? Oh, we roll back charges on the port, the freight to 2019. All the big business friends benefit from it because they were paying less, so they were having more profit. They did not pass that profit on to you. They did not pass that profit on to me. That is clearly obvious. We do the shopping. We know that's a fact. That is not somebody guessing. We know they didn't pass on anything to us. Yeah? So these are the things that they're putting in place. Let me pull up another section of this act for you. It also speaks here, and this section, let me just, I thought I pulled it up. Let me put it here. Now, this part of the act also gives the minister the power to change any part of the act as they see fit, right? As they see fit, so the recommendations could come from the commission. But remember, who appointing the commission is the minister, right? So you understand what could take place there. So the commission is not being appointed by the Governor General with one person on advice of the opposition, one person from the government and the private sector, the trade union movement or whoever recommending the third person. No, this is fully on the minister and the cabinet, and so that are going to appoint this commission. So then that commission can make any recommendation and the minister could change any part of this. Any part of this law could be changed simply by you write a SRO and you gazette it. You send it, you publish it in the government gazette. Once that is done, whatever they change is now law. So people who are exempt, who they claim are exempt, like journalists, etc., could find themselves in problems the following week because the minister could just do a SRO and say journalists are no longer exempt. You all understand what is taking place here? The minister has the power, and generally ministers have powers to make SROs and things. But in a case like this, it is concerning. Ministers generally have powers to amend different acts and so on through an SRO in the Gazette. It's nothing new. But in the context of what we're speaking about here, and in the atmosphere we're speaking about, where people are being told, don't leak information, don't give out information, too much information coming out and so, and you're seeing all sorts of draconian behavior by this administration. Imagine your prime minister was supposed to hold a press briefing yesterday and they just canceled it. He afraid to face the media. So even that means of coming and face the media and face questions, he doesn't want to do. Even that. All of these are contained in that act, you know. I'm not saying that the act is totally bad. Don't get me wrong. I believe there are some good parts of it. There are some parts of it that says, for instance, that you cannot expose information in relation to a person's health status. So I know nobody wants all of the files in relation to whatever medical condition they may or may not have. They don't want their files out there in the public and anybody getting that. I believe that, yes, that has to be protected. You don't want to be reading the newspapers and see all your financials in the newspapers. They know everything about everything you're doing with the bank and everything. You don't want to see that in the newspaper. Yeah? But if you're a person in public life, I believe you're fair game. So if you are one of the people in the category of public life, I believe you're fair game if someone has evidence that you have been involved in wrongdoing. In that case, I have no problem with putting a person's financials out there. If you have given yourself to public service, to public life, and you're a government minister, you're a senator, you're whatever, or you're on one of the boards or so on, you're providing a service on one of the boards, I believe your financials, if you have been proven to be involved in a corrupt act, and that is released, I have no problem with that. None. Zero. So don't tell me that ain't supposed to come out for people in public life, for people in private life who are not in public life. In the public life, as in fact, there's a definition for public life under the Integrity Act that I'll pull for you in a while. Once you are in that, certain things that you believe should be private ain't really that private, you know. You're supposed to disclose. So I'm giving you some examples of what is being put out there. What is being... Let me show you this one. This one is an interesting one. And I wanted to believe it's a typo. No, I'm not taking any calls now. I'll take the calls when I'm finished with the presentation on this. So I'm not taking any calls now. So it says here under section 7, the general principles of collecting information and getting information and sharing information and so. Yeah? So it says that you can gather information and sharing information and all of that. And in G of that, it says for the exercise of a function of the state, a minister of government or a government department. In other words, any government minister, according to my reading of the General Principle 7, Section 2, subsection G, my reading of this is that any government minister could request your personal information and have to be given it. Because it says here, excuse me, that the information, notwithstanding subsection 1 and subject to subsection 3, a data user may process personal data about a data subject if the processing is necessary. And then it gives the different forms that that information can be given. So it says to perform a contract to which the data subject or the owner, you, right, is a party, to take steps at the request of you with a view to entering into a contract. They could request your personal information for that. But under G, why is it that you give a minister of government the power to request and receive people's personal information without that being an offense? I have a problem with that. Because how I read that, that would include that person's medical information as well. That would mean that person's financial information as well. That doesn't limit the type of information that has to be handed over by any individual that is requested of. And in this case, it means that that minister, the 15 of them that there, that any of them could request information on you and have to be given it. And it's not an offense. But if I request information on them and it's given, that's an offense. Let me say that again. So, this would mean any of the government ministers can request information, personal information on you. And according to G, that's not an offense. They would be able to receive that information. But if you request information on somebody and you're given that information without, that's an offense. So you understand the kind of things I'm talking about here. Maybe I am reading it wrong. Maybe I'm reading it wrong. But again, as I said earlier, laws are up for interpretation. The judge, the magistrate, at the point in time, will base their findings on their interpretation of what is in front of them. And if they are thinking in the way that I'm thinking, it means here that if a government minister requests your health files and they get it, that they could save themselves by just referring to this section 7G. Section 7 part 2G. They could just say refer to that. And they're safe. Why are you trying to safeguard them? So why should they have the powers to get anybody information that they want, and it's not an offense, but nobody else must have the ability to get information on them? Because obviously, it's not like they're going to be asking you. They could request your information from different sources that they have access to, and it would not be an offense. Yeah? So you understand the kind of things that you're facing right now. You understand what they are trying to put in place. Let me show you this one. I'll show you this one. And this speaks to the section that most people have been raising an eyebrow about. It speaks to the warrant to enter and search. Right? So a magistrate, if they go to a magistrate and they say, Tom Jones, we believe Tom Jones has received information that he should not have. And therefore, we need a warrant to go to Tom Jones' premises, his workplace, and his private home and search. So they go to a magistrate and the magistrate is satisfied that, that information all you have look legit. So they would issue a warrant to that individual, right? So that they can go and search whether it's your workplace, whether it's your place of leisure, whether it is your home, whether it is your vehicle or whatever property it is you have, even your parents' place, because whichever premises that they believe that information is at, they can get a warrant to search there. So it don't necessarily have to be your house. It could be your girlfriend own. It could be your brother or your sister own. Yeah? And they can get a warrant to search that just based on they believe that there's information there that you are holding, and that is the location that information is. Not that you had drugs, Not that you have a bomb or gun or you have a factory making fake pills or some kind of thing. That you have information there that you shouldn't have. So they come in and they could come at you, whether it's 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock at night, 12 in the day, whenever it is, they can come whenever they want. So they can enter the premises. They can search the premises. They can inspect, examine, operate, and test any equipment found on the premises and which is used or intended to be used for the processing of personal data. You and I know that that means flash drives, thumb drives, yeah, to people who still use CDs, yeah. Also, it means your documents, your actual documents, not just mechanical documents, but actual paper documents as well. It means your computer, your laptop, your tablet, your mobile devices. It means all of that. That's what C is speaking to. D, to inspect and seize any documents or other material found on the premises and which may constitute evidence of the commission of the offense. So if I have my documents in relation to the New National Party and they come and they search in, they could take all my documents in relation to the New National Party too and say, we think it might have something in there that we need, and go with that. Right? That's it, yeah, like we in the Gestapo state right now. To require any person on the premises to provide an explanation of any document or other material found on the premises. They didn't say the target, you know. They say any person. So they could question your children. Let me say that again. They can enter your premises and question your children. This doesn't state that they can only question the target of the operation. If I am the target of the operation and you come to check my documents, why do you need to have the right to question everybody in the household? Anybody that's there. Any person on the premises, and they don't even have to be living there. Could be your gardener. Could be your cousin from the country that come and spend 2 nights. But it gives them the right to require any person on the premises to provide an explanation of any document. So yeah, we'll come and ask my 4-year-old what that document doing there. Or any other material found on the premises. Yeah? And to require any person on the premises to provide other information as may reasonably be required. What is reasonably? Yeah? Whether the data user has committed the offense. I am seriously concerned about this bill. Yeah? Seriously concerned about this one. Folks, I'm going to take a short break here.
Tradition for this Kambule, Jambalasi ruling this time. Yes, we everywhere, taking it from the grapevine. We breaking all rules with fun, picong and rhyme. If the campaign didn't pass in the yard, they wouldn't have say, oh, me mad bad, no okay, don't pass in the yard. You say to make it better, you need to sting me finger. Now only 1 year later, this country having heart failure. Hey, you vote, you don't vote, sing down.
You know what, I'll open the phone lines right now. Yeah, I realized the phone lines were ringing, but I wanted to not lose my flow on the issues of speech. And there's more things in this bill to be concerned about, believe me. There are more things to be seriously concerned about within that bill. Nice? So I'll open the phone lines now, 440-7377. And remember, we're going to keep it kind of within 2 minutes. 2 to 3 minutes at the most for the calls. So we're going to try to keep it within that time frame, 2 to 3 minutes. So we're opening the phone lines for those of you outside of Grenada, 347-329-3101. And those of you here on Grenada, 440-7377.
If the taxman didn't pass in the yard, they wouldn't have said, oh, me mud bad, Mr. Finance, don't pass in the yard. We working for little money. You take it back as you
can't tell me this is just to protect. This is a situation where these people are wanting to use this to persecute certain people. And somebody just messaged me to tell me, yeah, sugar will go up. Yeah, sugar gone up. It had to go up by 20%. So yeah, you will expect the price of sugar and everything that sugar uses to go up as well. Huh? Let me say good night to the men and women of the Royal Grenada Police Force. Hope that you all are having a wonderful night tonight. All you, get them people to pay and grade. All right. Come in. Why all you didn't do it? Why all you didn't do it? No, it was a negotiation with the police. You all promised that within a certain space of time they won't get that done. Yeah? Are you all using all kind of excuse but you can't find this and you can't find that? Nonsense. Our police officers in acting position, take the acting allowance. Take them acting allowance. They have taken these people acting allowance away. Police officers, since September. So you're acting in a position as an inspector, a superintendent or whatever, and they've taken the acting allowance away. And they still wouldn't actually put these people into the substantive position. We have a caller online. Good night.
Hey, good night, sir. How you doing?
Hey, I'm fine, man. How are you?
For the math tonight, yeah, one. If you're doing percentages and what going next day, they give us what is it? 10% subsidy?
No, $10.
$10 subsidy. Shalon, I put my bill online and I show them how it happening. So everybody in Grenada have water heater, everybody have maybe AC and things like that. And yes, the woman in Guelph, the Ministerial in Guelph installed, what do you call it, some kind of green AC thing. Oh, that was it since the... So, we didn't agree there. Where are the minister? Where is Mr. Andrew, David Andrew, the Minister of Education? You know what I'm saying? Where are these where are they? Education in Grenada is going on the road. Where's the Minister of National Security? Accidents on the road is going on. What's going on? What happened in Grenada? PM Deacon. What's going on? Shalon.
Mm-hmm.
They call you a name. They call you a name.
My brother, if they call it and I don't hear it, I ain't really care. So don't let them call nothing. Don't even tell me. I don't care. Right now, we're dealing with the Data Protection Act. That's what I'm dealing with tonight. I ain't coming off that. That's what I'm dealing with tonight. Yeah, man.
One thing I know, we are resilient and we there. Miss Cammy there, everybody there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
we there inside. And we strong. 9-6, 9-10, 11-4, whatever, 7-3, whatever. On a serious note, I want to talk about Mr.
Well, you have 1 minute. You have 1 minute remaining, eh? Yeah. So go ahead. You have 1 minute remaining.
Appointment as Attorney General, Labour Minister, and what again? Anyhow, she actually posed, so she advising her own self, and she fired a woman that is more qualified than she in about 9 times. That's all I said. Shalom. Later.
All right, my brother. Thank you. Yes, indeed. 4407377. Yeah, we'll discuss the Labour Minister. And so next week, I'm going to have a guest. And we're going to talk about them thing the next week and thing, man. Tonight, I'm dealing with Data Protection Act. We have a caller online. Good night. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Good night.
Sheldon.
Hi. You're live, caller. Go right ahead.
Hello?
Yes, you're live. Go right ahead. You're live right now. Go ahead. You're on. Caller, pay attention to the phone. Come on.
Sheldon N.
Yeah, pay attention to the phone for me, and you could speak there. Go right ahead.
I see N speaking.
Yes, you go ahead. Go ahead. Just speak. Go ahead. Hello? Okay. Caller, you'll have to call back. You cannot listen to the computer and talk to me. or the television and talk to me. You had to talk to me through the phone. Turn the volume off on the computer or whatever at the time, or the television also, mute it. Have that conversation with me, because I realize what was happening there. You're trying to speak to me and listening for my response on the television or whatever you're listening on. And if you do that, you will hear my response about a minute after I've actually said it. Because it's the internet I'm doing the program over, so there's a lapse, there's a difference, like an echo then, that takes about a minute, about a minute before it gets to you. So definitely, you can call back. But when you call back, just have the conversation with me over the phone. 440-7377. That's 440-7377. That's the number for you to call and get on to the inside of tonight's program. It's now, 16 minutes after the hour of 9 o'clock.
Jambalasi ruling this time.
Seen some people saying take to the streets, all kind of thing. Let's see if they really come with it in Parliament on Tuesday, and if they're going to put that forward.
Breaking all rules with fun, picong, and rhyme.
I would love to hear what people like Dr. Francis Alexis has to say about this in relation to the constitutional rights of Grenadians, in relation to 1, freedom of expression, 2, the right to property and so on, not have your property open to arbitrary search and that sort of thing. I would love to hear, especially in relation to Section 33 there. I'd love to hear what he has to say in relation to that. We have a caller. Yeah, we have a caller online. Good night.
Hey, good night, Sheldon.
Hey, how you doing, sir?
Just good, man.
All right.
Well, I'm 100% behind you tonight in staying with that topic and educating the people on that topic. Because a lot of people, Sheldon, need to know the seriousness of what NDC trying to do there. We calling all kind of names, Gestapo and all kind of things. But Sheldon, what they're trying to do there is to set up a dictatorship and to use that act to defend it and to use it against the people who they believe is the opponents and the enemy in order to stay in power. Because then people already realize that the world is being shaken and NNP as a party is waking up, speaking up, and shining the light, and people seeing and following. And that is a threat to them. So they're doing all kind of things. And they will do all kind of things to keep, because they are swearing that they want to stay in power for 30 years and 20 years. I heard the minister for the South saying that the man have to remain in power for the next 20 years, be the Prime Minister of Grenada for the next 20 years. I believe he will be the leader of the NDC for the next 20 years, but not the Prime Minister of Grenada for the next 20 years. So, Sheldon, keep to the topic, keep educating the people. Very good topic.
All
Bless
right.
you.
Thank you very much. Yes, indeed. 440-7377. I remember you can call on WhatsApp as well. Yeah. Because I'm uncomfortable in the atmosphere where all of this is taking place. Let me just say that clearly. I am uncomfortable in the atmosphere in which all of this is taking place. You've seen, and I don't have the slides tonight with me, but you've seen the letter that was sent to the staff of the Gravel and Concrete Emulsion Corporation speaking about confidentiality right after something that by all definitions would be considered a corrupt act was leaked and ventilated in the public space by employees at the Gravel and Concrete Corporation. Instead of addressing the issue of the allegation of that corrupt act taking place at Gravel and Concrete, what they came out and did instead is send a letter to the staff to say, shut up. Or you see something corrupt? Hush. So they gave them a letter stating that you have to be confidential in relation to what is going on here and that sort of thing. And they've started the process of sending that around to other statutory bodies as well. So don't be surprised when you start hearing that Port Authority, Airport Authority, Postal Corporation, National Lottery Authority already has something similar in place, I believe, but you might be hearing something again from there. Even places like the Stadium Authority and so on, you can be hearing that all these places getting letters saying you cannot disclose anything going on here. As if the place belong to the people that sit down in cabinet. Yeah? The Port Authority belong to them? Gravel and Concrete Emulsion Corporation belong to them or it belong to us? Do we not have a right to know if something wrong is going on there? We have a right to know. And the person who's speaking about leaking information is the man that leak. It's the same man that come out and start to call all kind of figures and start to say all kind of thing and then send out information with banking account number and all kind of thing. That's not a leak. Was that already information in the public space? Was the information leaked about a public body or a private institution? And now they want to come and put things in place. You better do it retroactively so that you could also be charged under the act. That is what I want to happen. Do it retroactively. Again, I have serious concerns. In the atmosphere that we are in, so you see gravel and concrete workers, they get the letter. Then you see all different ministries get, so Ministry of Finance, letters. Ministry of Youth, letters. Ministry of Health, letters. For them to focus on the fact that the Ministry of Health doesn't even have painkillers for patients. That there are patients who are waiting now, being placed on waiting lists for surgery, not because of the lack of a surgeon necessarily. They are being told, actually told, that, hey, we do not have medication to do your surgery. And I'm not talking about major surgery here. Some of the minor procedures. But you know, still for some what we might consider minor procedures, you may still have to be put to sleep. And they are saying, look, we don't even have the medication for that. And there are situations like that throughout the public service in different categories, and they don't want that information to come out. So nobody, no nurse, nobody within the health system, no doctor should come out and say, hey, there's a shortage of medication, you know, and it's becoming chronic because it has been there for a while. They don't want anybody come out and say that. They want to keep all those bits and pieces of information quiet. They want to keep them things to themselves. So you see the kind of powers that they're giving to ministers. So ministers could request your information. So a minister decides they want your medical information. From what I read and my reading of it, my interpretation of it, maybe I could be wrong, so tell me I'm wrong. But my interpretation of it is that the individual would be able, that they can just ask for your information, they have to be given it. Maybe my interpretation wrong. I'm not a lawyer, I never went to law school. We have a call online.
Sharon, good night. How are you doing? Good
hey, I'm fine, Cammy. How are you?
I just I come home hungry. And I went and steamed a sweet potato and a slice of breadfruit.
Hey. A used girl?
And Peter some fish and tomatoes and I drinking some bitter bush. So I just I just come and sit down in front of the television now. Tell that when they pass that wait no. You were explaining about this bill they want to go and pass in Parliament. These people in charge Papa Grenadian, Papa God in charge. All you fear not. God is in charge. Papa God bigger than Dick Mitchell, the Prime Minister, and all the ministers in government. God is bigger than him. Fear not. You all don't believe, or you don't believe in Almighty. He have all the power in his hand. Don't worry. God is good. We are alive today. You understand? But if they pass the bill, children, listen to how I do. And they come in front of me, though. I come in not naked for them, you know. Naked as a man. If they want to come and search me up, because I know it's only food I have and clothes here. If they pass this thing and they want to come in my house to take me little TV and to watch me Judge Judy and watching you, they know. Hey, they go have a problem. They go have a big problem. And we talk. We only talking, we don't acting. A lot of us are starting programs. A lot of us. And Grenadians not supposed to afraid to speak. You born in Grenada. Are there the people in Russia come and control us in Grenada? I want to leave Russia to come in Grenada and control we as Grenadians. So that's my dead body. I passed through dairy era. Down to the revolution. I saw me some Bishop father die, you know. This tall man, this short. I go let NDC supporters and prime ministers and ministers scare come in. Joke are you making? I am going to speak. And Sharon, you don't worry. Information, the own people will give us the information. Those that they need food, those that they are wrong him, will give us the information. Trust me. Them will give us the information so they could send out paper for them to sign. You can't stop that, Mr. Prime Minister. You'll never to stop that. Because they don't want today. Where Nazim and them. Where Nazim and them that say they love Grenada. Where is Mr. Tillman Thomas? Where is his guys and them? And it's them that they're behind that. They only put them young people in front there, you know. They only put the young people in front there like Ron and the one in Guav and Andy and them there, you know. But these people walking in the back, they're there. And they don't want you there, Mr. Deacon Mitchell. Trust me. I don't fight like all you. They don't want you there. So don't watch me and other people that speaking and now you want to shut us up. Them will go shut you up because they don't want you there. Good night, Grenada.
All right, Kami. Yes, indeed. 440-7377. That's the number for you to get onto the inside. Kami, that good for them. Go and search by Kami. You go get all you're looking for. Go and search the. All you get it hot. 440, I think I just missed a call on the WhatsApp. 440-7377. That's the number for you to call and get onto the inside. Yeah. They are restricting information to you. You know, under the new National Party. Just last year this time, every week, you had post-cabinet press briefing. You would receive information on the decisions of the government. They would tell you, we've done this, we've done that, we've decided A, B, that Minister so-and-so has traveled to this meeting and they've secured grant funding of X million dollars or how much 100,000 US towards this project or that project or so on. Or government has completed doing A, B, or C, and we're about to start C, D, E, F, G. But at least on a weekly basis, and it didn't have to be Dr. Mitchell there every week. His ministers were capable and competent enough that sometime one would go by themselves or they'd have different ones going and so. But with this administration, you see the Prime Minister not interested in how much press conferences they had for the year. 1? Well, 2, if you consider the one last week that we forced them to have. Yes, Talking Points forced Claudette Joseph to come out and have a press conference last week, Friday. The whole of Grenada know that. Because we released the information in relation to the Labour Commissioner last week, Thursday night, and bright and early Friday morning, that to rush for a special press conference. Now, they were supposed to have press conference this week. They're supposed to have press conference this week, because they're talking about freedom of information and the importance of you having information and so. They're talking about that. But this is not about freedom of information. This is about taking away your freedom to information. That's what it's about. and using this as a tool to suppress opposition forces. So because they don't want Carl Caton to be on radio reading any document from them or being able to point to anything, they don't want Mr. Francis Pierre to be able to take their document and line by line dissect it and fling it back at them. They don't want that. So they don't want these voices out here being able to discuss the people's business. So the same Prime Minister that authorized the release of the banking information of a political organization other than his own is now talking about it's wrong to leak information. And we're still waiting for him to leak the cabinet conclusion. That's what we want. And I'll say to my good friends in the media, whenever the opportunity avails itself of you all to ask him the question, we can ask about the cabinet conclusion. Yeah? Once he avails himself of the opportunity to place himself at the mercy of the media so that questions can be asked, that question definitely has to be asked of him about that cabinet conclusion. We want to know. Yeah? So I think it's important that he face the media. Yes, he was going to speak, say he was having a press conference to speak about the trips that he take and all of these things. I think it's important to speak. We have a caller online. Good night. Hello.
Good night, Sheldon.
Hi, good night.
What happened is have the boys and them in Jerry days, what used to beat up people there.
Mongoose
What was
Gang?
the name?
Mongoose Gang?
Yes. Yes, they're in Grenada again. They want to stop Grenadians from talking. Sorry, I'm not down there.
This one
I'm
might
in New
be
York now.
This one might be Manikou Gang, no Mongoose. This might be the Manikou Gang.
Yeah, I find so.
Or it might be the
I find
Gona
the
Gang.
people them doing too much around thing. Maybe if I was down there, they arrest me already, you know, because I don't afraid to talk. I doesn't get the chance to talk to you because right now at home I'm not feeling too good. I now have a kidney transplant and I'm relaxing.
But yeah. I'm glad that you got it done.
You know who's speaking to you, no?
Yes, I know.
Neighbor. Do you know?
Yes. I make out the voice already.
Michelle, Catherine mother.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I had a transplant about 2 weeks back. So
that's wonderful.
I just relaxing until I could come to see my children.
Okay. But take it easy.
Take care.
Take it easy.
Yes.
Don't frustrate yourself. Follow exactly what the doctor tell you. Take your medication on time and careful with what you eat.
Right.
Yeah, and
that's
rest.
Right.
The main thing, rest.
Yes.
All
yes,
right.
I'm doing everything what they tell me.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, my dear.
Okay, have a good night.
And call again. All right.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, 440-7377. You can call us on WhatsApp and you can call us directly. I have spoken for 2 guests. I will send out over the weekend who the Monday guest is. We have 1 guest for Monday where we'll be discussing several issues. We might be discussing things like the labor climate and all of those things. We should be discussing that on Monday as well. And then on a Thursday, I have another guest that would be on with us either Wednesday or Thursday. We have to settle on the day. All right. And then there's something coming up the week after. I'm not going to say much about it yet because there's some filming up to do, but you all go like it. Nice. We have a caller online. Good night.
Just come in there for a shot like Sheldon.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The Prime Minister will not answer this question in the media. The media people won't ask the man them kind of thing, Sheldon.
Oh, yeah? No, it has some waiting to ask him them thing, believe me.
They only say that so they won't ask him. I would like Kellen Bob. I would like Calista. I would like, they won't ask the man them kind of hot. They won't show them hot ball at the man. Trust me. To Mitchell, as the Prime Minister said, he doing things different. They're afraid to speak to that man. Oh God, if I see him, I would address him nice and ask him them questions, but they won't ask him. Tell on. They will not ask you want to vet me? These people and them would, they will fret all them on this kind of question. He's a bunch of hypocrites. They would not ask him that. Good night, Bobby. Good night, John. I hear your voice. Good night. Hey.
All right, my dear. 440-7377. That's the number for you to get onto the inside of tonight's program. Yeah? 440-73. Yeah, the same dog, the Prime Minister, he might keep telling them the same thing. You understand? Yeah, amen.
Thank you. Bam, 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 bay. Oh, Lord, Lord, Lord. They said the man was a good teacher and education officer, very loyal to his profession. He loved to give.
Yeah, we have various questions that we want answers to.
But since he become Prime Minister, oh, what a complete turnaround. I don't know if it's mental pressure.
Seeing a price here, 10 pounds of sugar is now $27.50. Wow.
And anything you ask him, I don't know. One answer you get him, I don't know. How much you retrenching, I don't know. When I am coming, I don't know. The ship of state sinking quite rapidly. The captain knows nothing. What a tragedy. All what Mitchell ask him, I don't know. Don't care how they beg him, I don't know. What's about Ken Lansing? I don't know. Will you reinstate him? I don't know.
And just for you all to be able to read for yourself again, let me put up the part about searching your property and so. Yeah, let me make sure that you all can see. And they're going to come in Parliament and say that this is a piece of legislation that the NNP that draft that the NNP ain't pass it, though. The NNP will look at it, yeah, but you ain't pass it. You all are the ones bringing it to Parliament. No. And there are sections that are causing concerns to various sections of the Grenadian society, be it the media, be it civil society, be it the legal fraternity. There are sections of this bill that are causing problems.
They don't care about standing orders or what's on the other paper. I don't dare call on Mr. Speaker. They all have their own agenda. And anything you ask them, I don't know. Don't care what's the problem, I don't know. Where the fire money, I don't know. How much you spend already, I don't know. The ship of state sinking quite rapidly. The captain knows nothing. What a tragedy.
So let me ask, if sugar is up now to $27.50, if you had to make some juice, well, you can't buy nothing to make juice. I mean, the price of the water gone up and the price of the sugar gone up. So, I mean, by the time you take sugar water you have to make, my good, $27.50 for 10 pounds of sugar. My goodness, yeah. So instead of this government focus on some of the madness that's going on our roads, and we're coming to the weekend, and my heart hurts considering some of what I've seen even tonight taking place on the road and what you know might be happening over the weekend again as people out and they go to the local party and they drink and they go and they lime different place and so again this weekend. So they ain't talking about that and they ain't doing anything to address those issues. They're not out there and they're not trying to address the issues of the cost of living. They're not addressing people getting bongs down at the side of the road and killed. Within the last couple months, I know of at least 3. That's since between when? Between December and now? That should be November. And now should be about 3 people that was just walking at the side of the road and people bongs them down and kill them. There was the one in Grandans. Well, there were 2. Well, 3. Actually in the Grandans area. Because you had the one that took place by the Limes. You had the one that took place close to Hubbard's and Flo there in what they call that area, Mount Hartman. And then you've had the one on the highway now. I ain't see the passing any bill to try and address those things. I ain't see the passing any bill to try and bring the price of foodstuff down for people. I ain't see the passing bills for these things. But instead of that, the shut up, the rush to hush bill. That is my terminology for it. The rush to hush. So they rushing this bill to try and hush people. There are many other things that they could have been dealing with. Many other things that they could have been dealing with in Parliament on Tuesday. The leader of the opposition asking you all questions you're refusing to answer, and you're putting the state machinery in place to deny him and the Grenadian people the answers to those questions at all costs. What? All your thieving? Ask a question. I didn't say the thieving. Asking all your thieving? All you corrupt? All you do something wrong in the ministry that you had afraid the information come out? Why all this simmy-dimmy? And mix up? What afraid so? What are they so afraid of? That making me want to find out even more. So, yeah. Crew out there, make sure, give more information. Because imagine this afternoon I'm hearing the story of one young lady that went out on maternity leave from a particular ministry. I don't want to give details. But one lady that went out on maternity leave from a ministry, and when she returned expecting to resume her job, she was terminated. Yeah, terminated. So she go back thinking she have a job. No job. Terminated by this government. And ended up having a mental episode. A mental breakdown. And ended up in a facility. Well, the facility. Because of what these people have done. We can't have these kind of things taking place in our country. You ain't doing anything to address that? Oops, we lost that call. 440-7377. That's the number if you want to call and get onto the inside. Yeah? Because understand, what they're playing with here, when they come and they put things like this into a bill, is they're playing with your freedom and they're playing with my freedom. They're playing with your children's freedom. So imagine, let's just imagine that your son or your daughter is working in a particular ministry. A bit of information from that ministry ends up in the hands of a media entity. It is decided that your son or your daughter is the person that leaked that information. And all of a sudden, you end up in a situation where people come and start to search your house. Remember, you ain't do nothing, no, but your son or your daughter is being accused, even though they may not have done it, but they believe that that is the person that had access to it. That is one of the people that had access to it. So you feel it's them. So let me go and search. They might have a flash drive in the house. Let me search the car. Let me search the mother car. Let me search the father car. These are the kind of things that are being passed in Parliament. And you know, the NDC has a history of this kind of thing, you know. They have a history of this kind of thing. Because I can take my mind back to the year 2011. Yeah, I could take my mind back that far. That was what, 11 years ago? 11 or 12. About that, yeah. Years ago. 2011. And back then, they had the Interception of Communication Bill that was brought by the NDC government to Parliament. You all remember that? Again, that's why I keep telling you all. The younger ones may not remember those kind of things. Antonito, I know you remember that. I know you go remember that one. Yeah? The Interception of Communication Bill, where it gave them the power to intercept your communication, in other words, to tap your phones. But these days, you know, not much people using landline. So while I know, yeah, they tap the phone inside here, 6 or 1/2 a dozen of the other. It also gave them, under that act, they could tap your mobile. They can hack your email. Yeah? And I am pretty sure that they are doing that right now. But if I find any proof that that is being done to me, they're going to be paying a lot of money through the courts. Because you'll have to explain why you are doing that to individuals within the opposition. Trying to hack people's phones. Yeah? I remember what happened under the last NDC administration, you know. I remember an instance, and I know that it's an old way they used to try to hack phones, and so by trying to send a particular file to your open Bluetooth, and if you accept it, it would give the person who sent the file total control of your phone. And I was sitting in a government ministry, and they kept trying to send the file to my phone. Like if I was an idiot and I don't know what they were trying to do. Yeah? Like if I was an idiot and I didn't know what they were trying to do. So there's a precedent for these sort of things. We have a call online.
Sheldon, why you saying they go tap people's phone?
No, what I'm saying is that back when the NDC was in office before, they passed the Interception of Communication Bill, which had a similar section to it like this, where they could just enter properties and so on. Like, it gave them the right to be able to go into your property when you're not there then. They didn't even have to give you a warrant. That was the last NDC they passed that bill, where they could enter your property without you knowing. So in other words, they could break and enter your property, set up listening devices, and come out.
Let me phone when I'm talking to my man, Mr. Dad. And it was getting a lawyer, the lawyer at 2017 from Trinidad, you know. I'm a lawyer, you know, to deal with them. But what I already called back to tell you, Mr. Scott, is a big concern for the workers in this country. With big trouble to get bust. I sure you have people in the terminal still for Satires and Victoria, and then it's just a real problem. I'm lying. It's the honest truth. Anybody could call and testify. There's a lot of trouble. I don't know who the Minister of Transportation. These people are suffer to get bus land to go home, and that people are living in Satires, Victoria, and Guam. You know what I mean? So I don't know if they could do something for these people. Please. Say something on the behalf of these working people. When to go home to take out their shoes, they put there to they are sometimes thanks to the grand and boss men. But I have to assist them. You know? I really just concerned about that. Have a good night. I ain't calling back again, but
Kami, before you go though, I personally know of situations where that is happening right now.
It's been a long time, you know.
Yeah, it's been taking place a while now.
No.
Yeah.
It gets worse now. I want to say good night to Fiverr. Fiverr, good night. It's ready. What? Little children, them people from Guave, them trying to be crying, they're tired. And you don't have like benches that people could sit down and relax till a bus comes. It's really, really sad. And these are things that those in authority, like the minister, like Mr. Andal from Sotel Chantimel, and the other man from, how they call him again, is Cornwall. So that people is seeing trouble to get bus to go home. And these are not people that come online. These are people that come out to work. And they're just going to take a nap to come again next day. So I would like you all to address that. Address that situation with the people that want bus to go home in the night.
All right.
Yes.
No problem.
Because try and see, say something on the behalf of them too.
Okay.
You know? Yes.
All right,
and
my dear.
Somebody drop a little change for the man, eh?
Okay, I'll let him pass, yeah.
All right.
Okay. Yes, indeed. And what Kami is speaking about there is an actual fact. I know of people who have reverted to trying to find a place to stay in town rather than have to try to go up on the West Coast. I don't know if the situation is as bad on the East Coast, but I know for the West Coast, especially, and again, not blaming this administration for it. It is an issue, and we're airing the issue. The buses are not running late, especially due to the fact they have to make that detour and all that kind of thing. So many of the buses stop running early. So you have a pile of people going to St. Mark, a pile of people going to St. John and St. Patrick that are stuck on the terminal on a nightly basis. Load of them, especially on a day like a Friday and so on. Even a Saturday night, you have people that pushing for bus and all kind of thing going on. And it goes back to what I was speaking about before. I've heard them speaking about long-term thing about doing a highway between the south of the island and north. Nonsense. Fastest thing, you do a ferry service on the west coast. Simple. Just do a ferry service. Yeah? You have a stop-off point in St. John. You have a stop-off point in St. Patrick. So the people in St. Patrick can park their vehicles. They pay a fee. They park their vehicles. They take the ferry. They pay. They come down. If they're going to St. John, they drop off in St. John or whatever, and they could come back to St. Mark. That's just ride it. So you don't need to put a stop in St. Mark as far as I'm concerned. You put it in St. John. People in St. John could have a facility where they do the same thing. You park your vehicles and so you board the vessel. You head on down to town. When you get to town, the vessel can come in right close to where the cruise ships are there, and so it could come in just before there, so the people could walk right from there to the terminal. And if they're going up to Annandale or Willis or something, they just take a bus. You're going to Montjalou or you're going to Grand Dance, you're going to Springs, wherever. You jump a bus from there and you go where you have to go. You handle your business, you come back, you jump the ferry and you go up the road. Yeah? And the ferry could take just, that ain't taking long for a ferry to leave there. They used to use it when you had the road broken in 1999. There was a limited ferry service that was operated when the road was broken during Tropical Storm Lenny. When you had that storm surge and it damaged the road, they had a limited ferry service running there. So that, in my view, is what, saying it because they will come and take my idea and then come and say, that is their idea, they committed. No, that is mine. Yeah? Do a ferry service between the north of the island and the south of the island. And that would alleviate some of the traffic. That would alleviate some of the problems that you're having right now with people stuck down in town and can't get home in the night. Yeah? You have specific hours that one going up, one boat going up, one coming down. Public-private partnership. You get somebody that's willing to put so many millions of dollars into it. You work along with government. You put in the facilities and you work like that. As far as I'm concerned, that's the way they need to go with that. Because there's that continuous problem that our brothers and sisters on the western side are going. So as I say, I don't know. It could be that a similar problem exists on the East Coast, but I don't know that it does. I know definitely for the West Coast. I have personal experience of that, so I know definitely for the West Coast that you have people that are going through that sort of thing, yeah? Yeah. Somebody's saying one minister might give a next minister might... The only way I would give the NDC some licks on this is that they have lost the $70 million that could have fixed that Western Main Road, that would have made it to the point where buses want to travel. Yeah? And then they have been stalling and so on the project in Molyneux. Different things have been happening on that project. Ain't ready to talk about that yet. In fact, I think I'm going to get Senator Nolan Cox one of these days and we're going to talk about that project in particular because there are certain things taking place on that project. Yeah? So if that project had moved forward in the way it was supposed to move forward and could have been completed by now, so buses and vehicles don't have to make all the way around, it may have been a situation that the buses say, yeah, man, let go ahead, I'm making a late run. But you can't blame the busmen totally that they don't want to have to work late into the night and that sort of thing. Maybe they need an association, proper association that says, hey, you all are working this time, this group is working that time, that group is working this time, then you rotate between the three so everybody get a bite. Yeah? In a disciplined way. So at least the public would be properly served. That is another option as well. But the government wouldn't be focusing on those things. They're focusing on, let me shut up them. So let me put that act through so as soon as we pass it and it is gazetted, we could go ahead and we could start to search people's place. Yeah? Or we could start to lock up people. That is what I want to do. But if you live frightening me, I tell all you, my jail clothes so already, I have my clothes for jail so long. Our jail clothes are court clothes. So our court closed, and I have some cousin in them in the States. Anytime one of them coming down, they just make sure I have court closed. Just make sure I have clothes. Not because you just see sometimes I dress a kind of way and I come out. No, man. I have some nice threads and thing there. I have some suit and thing there if I come out right now. Or they feel measy PM. Man. So don't worry. I'm a court clothes. And I'm a jail clothes. So anytime they're ready. But we will continue to give you the information as it comes on hand. And all you, those of you who may be getting scared about sharing information, don't let it frighten all you. That is what they want. They want to frighten you all to the point where you don't want to share information. If there is a particular avenue that information should be shared, and they are not providing the information, they are bluntly refusing to provide the information to the leader of His Majesty's opposition. Bluntly refusing. They can't say they didn't understand the questions. They're just refusing bluntly to answer parts of the questions. Because they don't want you to know who are their friends working along with different ministries who are not government ministers, but who going home with $7,000 and $8,000 a month in their pocket. Who have concession on vehicle and who vehicle either on the port already or on the way here. Brand new 2023. That they have applied and gotten concessions for. And I ain't talking about government ministers, you know. I'm talking about the friends and the hangers-on at the National Democratic Congress. Yeah. The sycophants. That is a word too. Yeah. But the hangers-on and brown nosers of the National Democratic Congress who are there receiving their nice salary. They just watch me cut I know when I say them thing. The $7,000 and the $8,000 and more. And more. That is happening. That is taking place. But they want that information to come out, so they're trying to shut up everybody. Yeah? They want you to know what is taking place in the ministries. They don't want you to know what is taking place in the Ministry of Health. Take the Minister of Health and put him on a press conference now and let the media, the real media, ask him questions. And let people send in questions, and they ain't going to do that. They ain't going to do that. Prime Minister ducking. So he's supposed to have a press conference yesterday, 10 o'clock. Postpone it. They didn't even say postpone it to when. So, you know, Monday is cabinet, so that ain't happening then. Tuesday is parliament, so that ain't happening then. So it's when that going to take place. Is when that is going to take place. Right? So as we get ready to wrap up for tonight and for this week, I have to say again, on this particular issue, we need other voices to be speaking up. Civil society, who was very vociferous. In other words, they like to talk a lot. They were very garrulous. So they used to talk a lot when NNP was in power on different bills. Remember when we had the Electronic Crimes Act? And there were certain sections they had problems with. Every time you buy a newspaper, those days we used to get a paper newspaper. Every time you buy a newspaper and you go through it, somebody writing an article about the Electronic Crimes Act. They had radio programs on it. They had television call-in programs on it. They had all kind of thing. But yet still, this government is looking to pass this as law. You hear civil society yet? Maybe they don't know. Well, after tonight, civil society, you all on notice. You know. There's no excuse now. You can't say that you don't know. You know. And any of you that have the contact of people in civil society, make sure you send this to them. I see one under the live tonight, and I have been seeing that individual. I don't like to call a name, because then at the end of the day, everybody does say, no. But I see one civil society activist, I saw them under the live tonight, and they have been exposing parts of this bill as well. I at least saw one media entity speak on it so far. Yeah. I saw Linda Straker put out her piece on it. And I saw that Dr. Kellan Bob, I know he has an interview. And in particular on this section as well. coming up on Sunday. Bob, you get look a blind here. You know, but again, you look a blind. So, I would like to hear what the civil society is saying. I would like to hear what the media is saying. And I would love to hear what the Bar Association has to say about this. No, not the bar where we just go and drink. The Law Association. When you say Bar Association, all you feel is Caribbean Stag are talking about. No, I'm talking about the Bar Association as in the bar, the Law Association. I want to hear what the lawyers have to say about this. And if the trade unions have to jump in particular the Public Workers Union. Yes, I know you all have elections going on right now. Yeah, because I hear in a meeting about with certain lady who looking for power within the trade union movement and certain activists from a particular political party. I hear in a meetings taking place in Lansapina and all kind of thing. All of you I don't know what's going on. Yeah, a meeting taking place with people looking for office and the thing down in Lansapina and all kind of thing where they're discussing this and that and all kind of thing. Because you know what they're really looking for is another one like the leader of the teachers union who ain't go really say nothing, who go hush him out. And then as soon as government change, all of a sudden he finds his voice again. Yeah. But this is coming up. I don't hear in them. This is going to affect public workers. This piece of legislation, let me say it tonight to Mr. Brian Grimes and to Miss Daisy Hazard. This piece of legislation is going to be used to terrorize public workers. It will be used to terrorize, not it might, It will be used to terrorize public workers. Because it's geared as much to the people who share the information as much to the people that receive it. So this piece of legislation will be used to terrorize public workers. And as such, you all need to add your voice in opposition to this act. So I'm interested, very, very interested, if this makes it to the Senate, to hear the union representative speaking on this. I want to hear when he checks with his constituents if they find that this is okay and that this is not a draconian piece of legislation. I want to hear if they are okay with that. Really and truly. Folks, that's all the time we have for tonight. Yeah, extra 3 minutes tonight. That's all the time we have for tonight. It's been wonderful being here with you. And of course, it's been wonderful being here to interact with you all this week. And to all the callers, those who called tonight, those who called throughout the week, those of you locally, regionally, and internationally, I want to thank you all so very much for making Talking Points your point of information. And indeed, we would continue to bring the information to you here. We just forced them to, remember last time we forced the Royal Grenada Police Force to call a press conference the next morning? Yeah, and last week we forced the Labour Commissioner, on the Labour Commissioner issue, we forced them to call a press conference. It looked like the poor minister had the cold or something too. Yeah, I find she wasn't looking well. She looked like somebody that had the flu. Poor child. Yeah. So, we are the ones who would continue to bring the information to you. Yeah? And we'd like to thank you all for being with us this week as we look forward to next week. And as I said, there was something I was going to deal with tonight and I decided, no, let me stick on freedom of information. Let me deal with that. All right? So I'm going to come with that one on Monday. So make sure you tune in early because I want to start early on that one on Monday. Promises made, promises deferred. We'll just put it like that. Promises made, promises deferred. Folks, in whatever you say and do it safe and secure. I want to be speaking to and with you and not about you. Love each and every one of you. My name is Sheldon Scott. I'm out of here. Do enjoy the rest of your night and your weekend. Love each and every one of you.
Somebody bring them up. Can't see them. Everything you want.
Like no boy. I get last two boy. It's the spirit boy. It's the spirit.
The spirit live this every tree. 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 Girl, the spirit. Boy, the spirit. Look, the spirit. Stop the spirit. $100. You're free the spirit. You're free the bad. You're free the spirit. You're free the bad. A woman shot out to she neighbor. Make sure you protect your daughter. The spirit jump inside the car and it's heading for the arena. Stop it. I said stop it. Somebody stop it. Mom the spirit. Dad the spirit. Look the spirit. Granny the spirit. Jeff! You're free the spirit. Tell me. You're free the bad. The whole parish was in a calm as the whole parish was in a calm as the whole parish was in a calm as. So John welcome and he put it to rest. Oh yes! The spirit live this every tree. 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 Young the spirit, boy the spirit, look the spirit, afraid the spirit. All those who like to marco, telling you anywhere people go. This time they cannot gossip. 5 o'clock and people run and sleep. The spirit live this every day. 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 The spirit. The spirit. The spirit. Who said the spirit? Tom Matthew. You're free the spirit. New man. You're free the bad. Telephones ringing like crazy. Who checking up on the family? If you see what the spirit do, boy, I swear we had a cough you. Stop it. Somebody stop it. Stop it. I said, Mommy the spirit. Daddy the spirit. Papi the spirit. I tell my good friend when you come over and spend the night with me. Afraid the spirit get me. But she shut up, looks Becky, and live in the house if you're me. Afraid the spirit get me. I tell sister one, it's all let up walk and I tell him one Inspector, boy, I love your soca. Your music driving people mad.